How are you doing? Hope you had a great week. So my name is Kevo Balogun, and I'll be your instructor for the course Project Management. And we'll be starting now. This is our week 1, so we'll be diving right into it. Now, for this first class, we shall be talking about what is project management, the life cycle of a project, and roles, responsibilities, and some technology used in project management. Now, what is project management? Project management is simple. It is a systematic planning, organizing, and controlling of resources to achieve specific goals and objectives within a defined scope, time, and budget. Note down the word scope, time, and budget. It involves coordinating and directing various aspects of a project from initiation to completion to deliver the desired outcome. Now, project management is just simple. It is just planning, organizing, and executing a project for desired outcome. Now, it requires critical skills like thinking, leadership, time management, and budgeting. Now, it is something we use in our day-to-day life. Maybe most of us will keep a diary. We woke up, we jot down things we want to do for the day or the next day. We jot out things we hope to achieve, how we hope to achieve them, and it's just a basic day-to-day life activity. Now, let's move forward. What are the key components of project management? Now, the scope. The scope of a project defines what needs to be done. Now, if you are given a project, the stakeholder or the contractor giving you such projects, now the person giving you those projects would tell you what he wants you to do. For instance, take you are asked to build a structure. Now, the scope of your job can be painting, or can just be tiling, or can just be rendering, that's plastering of the building. So in project management, the scope of your job is always given to you, so you know what you are doing there. Now, next, after scope, we have time. Now, every project has a time frame in order for us not to approach it lackadaisically. And you should know that in project management, the more effective and faster you deliver a job, the more better and less cost-consuming it is for you. Now, what is the next key component? Costs. Now, as a project manager, which I know you are hoping to be since you're taking this course, you should be able to manage budget and expenses, because most times you'll be given limited resources, and most times you can even be given enough resource, but your ability to manage and utilize the little you have given helps you in being a good project manager, so you adapt to every scenario and situation you find yourself. Now, your quality. The quality of the job ensures delivery meets standard here. So you are going to use your provided cost and income, just like we talk about, to deliver the maximum output and quality you can do. Now, lastly, the component of a project, the resource. Now, the resource allocates personnel, material, and equipment. Yes, this just gives you the available resources and materials and everything you're allowed to use. Let's say, for instance, like I said, you're asked to build a project or build a building, and maybe opportunity to have a tractor inside, a bulldozer, a mixing machine. It makes your job faster and easier. So the resources is also needed to ensure efficient project delivery. We're going to talk about the benefits of effective project management. Yes, what is the benefit of effective project management? The project management we are talking about, what exactly is the benefit? Why are we doing it? Number one, it improves efficiency. It improves efficiency. Now, when we talk about improving efficiency, it makes it easier, makes it more better, and saves a lot of time when you do a project with a good project manager. Now, if you're asked to build a building again, I'll keep using that as an example. Now, if you contract your job to a civil engineer, he has the knowledge, the technical know-how, most likely the available personnel and equipment to run such large scale. But if you give it to just someone who is not qualified, who has not done something like this, it costs you more in costs, in time, and you might not get your desired quality in what you need. Now, we're going to move forward to the second thing here in our week 1. Now, I would most likely share the notes of every class before you all watch a video, most definitely. Now, the life cycle of a project. Now, since we've talked about project management being a systematic planning, organizing, and effective, Now, how does it run? What steps are followed? The cycle we have to follow to achieve this. Number one, the initiation stage consists of the project scope, goals, deliverability, the stakeholders and their roles, develops the project charter and business cases. Now, if there's any engineering student or maybe a QS student, there's something called a tender document. Now, in the engineering field, the tender document is presented when a job is about to be gotten. Now, the government or the maybe private organization announces that, okay, we need someone to build something for us. Now, in the construction industry, the engineer now comes and provide and said, okay, yes, I'm able to build this for you. I have the capacity. Now that process is called the tendering stage, and you can liken it to the station stage in project management. It just basically defines the project scope, the goals of the project, what you want to achieve, what time you want to achieve it, what you have to work with. It's just like, I don't want to call it a negotiation stage, but it is you meeting the clients, having conversations about the scope of job and everything to be done before the job commences. Now we move forward. The second phase is here is the planning phase. Now, what is the planning phase? The planning phase creates details project plan, scope, schedule, and budgets. It's defined project organization and responsibility. It identifies risk. It identifies, and assesses risk. Now, the planning stage is where a lot of job is done. Now, when you they say when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yeah, it's a popular saying. So in everything we do, and especially in project management, the planning stage is where everything is done and considered. In the planning stage, you check your costs, you negotiate your time. Maybe the client says, okay, he wants this done in 2 months and he wants to pay you such amount of money and he wants this quality of job, referring back to construction now. Now, in this planning phase, you identify the probability and the possibility of such states. You'll be like, oh, okay, I can't actually do this in 2 weeks. It's not plausible. It does not follow all the procedures. If we want to go through all the leather procedures, we cannot have this done in 2 months, except we want to cut corners. Okay, what are the risks of cutting corners? What are the risks of following? What are the benefits of doing? Now, in this planning stage, you outline and you evaluate and you check which is the best bet to use. You weigh decisions, you have your plan A, your plan B, and you work with, okay, I have, if I'm going this route, I'll end up doing it for 2 months. If I'm going this route, I'll end up doing it for 3 months. You check all this. You use it when preparing your plan. It also involves outlining tasks. In the planning stage, you identify those who will be needed in your projects. Okay, what do I need? I need in building this out, I need a painter, I need a screeder, I need a mending, I need a plumber, I need a mechanical engineer, I need someone who could do tiling, I need someone who could do compaction. You identify and outline personnel and tasks and resources you will need. Okay, I'll need a grader. Okay, I'll need a tractor. Okay, I'll need this. I'm just trying to paraphrase now because of time. Now you outline everything needed in your planning phase. You outline it. You outline the risk. Okay, you have talked about risk. Then you define the responsibility. This is what I just talked about. Yes. So you identify all this first in your planning stage. Now, phase three. Now, before I go to phase three, most project managers merge phase one and phase two. And I think in the scheme, I did planning, execution. I did not, I merged it, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, no, I did not. But most people merge initiation and planning stage because it is similar. Most times the planning is done during the initiation and it's used for budgeting and before it is approved. So I just needed to state that before I go forward. Now, thirdly, the third stage in the life cycle of a project is the execution. Now, what is execution? Just as the word implies, it is carrying out action. It means to carry out the outlined project tasks and activities which you've listed on in your planning stages, or everything you've listed out so that you are going to do. It is time to execute it. Now, we are assuming that after the planning stage, you would have been mobilized with either the finances or the resources needed to carry out this job. Now, project management does not always involve money. Most times it even involves personnel management. So you've been mobilized in what you need to do this job. Now, in the execution stage, we do carry out project tasks and activities. Yes. Manage and allocate resources. Just like I said, you've been mobilized, and it's now your job as a project manager to manage. Okay, going back to reference the engineer, as an engineer, okay, I'm going to pay the painter so and so amounts to paint. I'm going to pay the plumber this amount of money. I'm paying the screwdriver this amount of money. I'm providing the plumber with maybe a ladder or a scaffold. I'm providing the engineer and the plumber, the painter with this and that. Yeah, that's just what the execution stage is. And in the execution stage, you monitor progress and performance. Yes. Execution stage, you monitor your progress and performance. And as a project manager, you implement quality control measures. Yes. Because you are the one coordinating the team. You're just like a supervisor, an engineer. That's why I keep referring back to engineer. You're just like an engineer supervising the construction. You basically might not be doing what everybody's seeing, but you are doing the most bulk of the job. You are supervising everyone, making sure everything is in place and make sure everything works accordingly and how it should work. Now we are moving forward to explore the monitoring and control. Now, before I talk about this, and I should add this back in my scheme, the phase 3, I called it execution. I think the execution is the implementation, this phase 3. Now, the monitoring and control can also be called execution, but it is execution B. I will add it in my scheme. Yes. In the monitoring and control, you track your progress, your project's progress against the plan. Now you check, okay, what I listed in my phase 2, which is my planning. Am I walking along? Am I going along with it? Is that what I'm doing? Is the painter doing what he was paid to do? What I need him to do? It's the plumber doing what I need him to do. It's the in building what I asked him, what we outlined, what we discussed we are going to do. That's it. Now, as a project manager, you should know you're going to be working with a lot of people. Maybe per se, okay, you're given to build an app, to develop an app. Okay, let me cite an instance. Now, I was working with a friend. He runs a tech company, Skillson, and he was contracted to host a bootcamp. Now he's a data analyst, and he knows I do project management. So he reached out to me and we're to work together. Now the people we are working for are based in Lagos. They are the one contracting us. Hashem Tech. It's a tech company. I can't remember again. It's a long time ago. Now we as a project manager, he gave me everything to do. He was just there because he was the one that knew the person. Now my job was to host a bootcamp. Now I was to provide the space to be used. That's the hall. I was to run the publicity of the event and the date and time. I was to bring in tutors, refreshments. Now the project was to run for a month. It did not run for a month, but it was to run for a month. Now I was to make sure, in as much as I was not going to teach any tech skills at that time. I was not going to teach data analysis, UI UX or anything then. But I was to make sure that everybody I brought in as a tutor was to do the job just as we had outlined it should be done. I was to make sure they were in class. I was to make sure the hall was provided for. So I had to talk to a lot of people. So as a project manager, you are talking to a lot of people. You are dealing with a lot of people. You are managing people and their emotions. You're going to make sure now that everything that what you agree to do with someone, it's what he's doing and what he's implementing. That's what the phase 4, the monitoring and control. Now we identify and correct deviation. So when you identify a problem and say that, okay, we agree that, okay, we are going to use four foolscap in writing this. I'm going to use 4 paper in writing this article. And you see someone give only 2. Now, as a project manager, it's your job to step in and say, no, this is what we agree. This is the quality of job we want to implement. And you correct that before it gets further. Now, we move forward to the next phase here, closure and termination. Now, in the closure, it's basically just completing the project and reviewing lessons learned. Now, but I listed out something. I said, number 1, you formalize project completion. You document your process. As a project manager, you have to keep documentation of every stage you go through in a project. You document every stages, your obstacles, what you did, because you are not the owner of the job. You have to give a report to the person that contracted you. Now, okay, number 2, I say document lessons learned. Okay, yes, you document everything. Number 3, you evaluate the project success. Okay, you tell yourself, okay, was this project really successful? Was this what we aim to achieve? Did it cost me more? Did it cost me less? What can I say about the project? What did I learn from this project as a project manager? Going forward, what can I correct? If I get a similar project like this, what can I adjust to? what personnel can I bring in? Who would I not work with? You document all this as a project management. And finally, you release resource. You basically are done with the project. So you're just doing the documentation. Benefits of project lifecycle. Now, what are the benefits of following this life cycle? Number one, improved project planning. Yes, when you go through the proper life cycle, the initiation planning, the execution makes the projects well planned, looked organized, and effectively implemented. Number two, it enhanced control and monitoring. Yes. Number three, it helps you in better location, better resource allocation. Yes, you know how to use your resource, you know how to prioritize the things, you know how to identify the stages of a project. So it helps you. Each phase plays a vital role in ensuring the project stays on tracks and meets its goal. Each stages of a project plays a vital role. So you cannot say, okay, the initiation stage is not important. I want to move to the planning stage. The execution stage is not important. I want to move to the monitoring stage. The controlling stage is not important. I want to move to the construction stage. So each stage plays a vital role and its importance. The roles, responsibilities, and common technology used in project management. Now, what are the roles? Who are involved in the projects? Now, we have a project manager. So who's a project manager? You and I are a project manager. We oversee the projects, the planning, the execution, and the coordination of the team. So we deal with the team members of a project and the stakeholders involved in the project. Now we report to the stakeholders and we supervise the team members. It is our job to make sure that the project is delivered and achieved successfully. Now, secondly, we have stakeholders. These are individuals or group affected by the project outcomes. Now we have the team members. These are people who we work with to execute. Now you can't do everything now. Just like I said, maybe you're an engineer to build a house. You need a painter, you need a plumber, you need a tiler, you need a mason, you need different people, different industrial professionals in the job. So as a project manager, the team members work with you. We do the allocated tasks which you've given them to do to acquire and to achieve a desired outcome. So we have the project sponsors. These people provide the money, the support that we're going to use to carry out the job. So let me just read through what I have here. So in project management, the key roles include the project manager, responsible for overall project success, the team members carrying out tasks, and stakeholders, those with interest in the project outcome. Now, project managers plan, organize, and execute projects, while team members provide specialized skills, just like I said, and expertise to do the job. Now, the stakeholders provide the guidance and feedback, ensuring alignment with project goals. Now, those just covered the roles and the responsibilities. Now, what are common software and technology used in project management? So, as a project manager, what are technologies, what are software, what are apps and things you should work with to make sure that you have effective goals, you deliver your job effectively? So we have the likes of Asana, Trello, and Jira, which is used for task management, scheduling, and collaboration. Now, as a project manager, you'll be doing a lot of scheduling because you'll be making sure that things work step by step according to how you plan it and according to how you need it to be, so that two team members will not collide in their job scope and everything. So you'll be doing a lot of scheduling. So we can also make use of apps like Microsoft Project, which is a very great app actually. It is used for also scheduling and tracking. So I'm just listing it out there. I think part of the week exercise is to familiarize yourself with apps like this. Now it helps you in tracking. Now there's also Jira. It is ideal for Agile and Scrum team. I would not talk much about Agile, but when we go forward, we'll get to talk about it. It is a kind of project management. So we should not talk about it now. We'll talk about it later in the future as we proceed. Now there's Monday.com and ClickUp. It is a versatile platform too for project. Now there are many. I'm just listing the few I've used and I know. Now, learning to use these tools, it's good because it improves your efficiency and makes it far easier for you and makes you seem and make you look professional. If you're having a conversation with a fellow project manager, you know that you know what you're doing when you use apps like this. It helps you and helps your project delivery and makes it better. Now, there are lots of challenges in using these apps, but as you go forward and as you proceed, you get to use them. Now, just to add before I end the class now, what are the challenges of project management and how to overcome them? Now, project management, I tell you, it's easy, but it's complex and complicated because you have to do with a lot of people. Yeah, you're basically managing emotion. I think I stated it earlier. You're managing people, you're managing resources, and managing resources can be easy, but managing people is difficult. You have to work in tune with their ego. You have to make sure that you don't offend people, you don't cross the line in as much as you are being the leader. That's why we are going to also brush leadership and time management as part of project management. Yes, I'm going to talk about it too. So how exactly can you overcome these challenges? Now, I listed some common issues in project management. There's scope creep. When project requirements keep expanding, as a project manager, some clients can be tricky. They can ask you to maybe develop an app for them and tell you, okay, this is supposed to be a game. Now, you guys agreed that, okay, this is what you are doing, this is the scope of job. And along the line, they start trying to be funny. Let me use the word funny. They trying to expand the scope of the job while not wanting to pay for the what they're expanding for. That's therefore increasing the time, the resource you use, the costs, and they are leveraging that you will bear the responsibility. So how can you do this? Now, I usually advise people, friends of mine who we were in the industry together, that they should have a defined scope of job. Before you take on any project, there should be a contract defining the scope. That's where the planning and administration phase comes in, which defines the scope of the job. You know, okay, this is the scope of this. Outside this is not my scope of job. So if something's like that's coming, you guys have that you can easily define terms of variation and come back and say, okay, if you want me to do this, we're going outside my scope. You are paying extra. We are extending the time frame. We are being flexible in the quality of job you are getting and stuffs like that. So the issue of scope should be defined effectively from the planning stage. Now, another problem we have in project management is poor communication. Yes, communication. Now, poor communication within team members destroys the project. Let me go back to the engineering sector now. If para say you are designing a structure and the architect and the structural engineer does not work together, does not communicate frequently, there'll be lack in the quality of the building because you need to communicate with every involved stakeholder. You, who is the project manager, needs to communicate with the project sponsor, needs to communicate with the stakeholders. You need to have frequent meetings with your team members. Now, prior to this class, which is being sponsored by Cedar Africa, we've had several planning projects. We've had meetings, we've had discussions, we've had meetings about how the classes will run, how the time frame will be, what platform the classes will air, what platform we're going to use. Are we going to use Zoom? Are we going to use Telegram? Are we going to use Google Meet? We've had several preparation. Now, this is communication. If we don't communicate, we'll just be so relaxed and say, okay, when we get there, we'll overcome. But project management is here to help you eliminate any uncertainties. You communicate and plan so that you can be able to run effectively and smoothly. Now, yes, missed deadline. Now, I added missed deadline, which is caused by poor planning or unforeseen issues, which is also caused by procrastination, a common Nigeria problem. Now, the solution to this is this: you use realistic timeline and monitor your progress. Now, you cannot come and tell me that you want to build a 10-story building in a month. It is unrealistic. You should not promise what you cannot deliver. You cannot come and tell a client, okay, yes, just give me the job. I can deliver it just because you want the job or just because you are desperate to get a project at that moment. No, you should be realistic so you don't start missing deadline. You missing deadline making you seem untrustworthy and unreliable. Now, as a project manager, what you should do, you should just use realistic timeline and monitor your progress. You know that, okay, fine, it will take me 3 weeks. See, I'm a kind of person that if it will take me 3 weeks to do something, I would even tell you 3 weeks and 4 days so that I have an excess day remaining, so that if I don't meet up this deadline, and I'm a lazy person, I try so much to do I procrastinate a lot as a person. So if as a project manager, you know it will take you 3 weeks, you can tell your clients or the stakeholder about, okay, 3 weeks and 4 days. So if you are delivering in 3 weeks, you seem even more effective. You seem like you are doing it ahead of the projected time, and it makes you even look good and better than having to miss a deadline and putting everybody at stake. By anticipating challenges and adapting quickly, we can easily keep project on track. Now, to conclude our class for the day, I'll just read the little I wrote here. Now, project management is a vital skill that brings structure, efficiency, and success to any initiative. By understanding key principles, methodologies, and tools, you'll be well equipped to contribute effectively to any project. Now, we'll be diving deeper into these topics in upcoming sessions. But for now, welcome aboard and we look forward to seeing you excel in project management. We at Cedar Africa say welcome, and I do hope you have a nice week, and I do hope you enjoy this class. Thank you, and God bless you.